Hello, guys. Good afternoon. Or good morning, wherever you are, or good evening. I can't forget evening. Welcome back to the channel. We have got one son, so good afternoon. Hope you are well.
Afternoon, Dan. How are you?
I'm very well, mate. How are you?
Yeah, good, thank you. Yeah, looking forward to the weekend's game, even though it's away from home, so probably won't go that well. But we can dream, you know. I look forward to it either way because it's our team playing. So yeah, looking forward to it.
It's that sort of logo that Spurs use in Dare to Dream, going there and picking
Yeah,
up
I
the
think it
win.
is, isn't it? Something like that.
Mm.
Yeah, who
I
knows?
mean,
Hopefully.
yeah, that's what I mean. Like, who knows with Forest? I mean, we might have caught Spurs on a one way of how they're playing at the minute.
Yeah, I mean Spurs. Spurs are just abject. Honestly, I watched their game yesterday against Milan. And I don't really know why, but I was watching it in a bit more detail than normal, and it just seems so obvious, like what was wrong with them. Like they're just so defensively minded and passive, and just making stupid mistakes. And you got to question Conte, really. Like he's had a lot of success in his career, but some of the decisions he made and that, I think it was really poor from Spurs, and the long term implications. I think we'll see what happens with that with him, and lots of Kane and that. But yeah, on paper, they should be beating Forest really, and I would expect them to beat us mainly because of our away form. But at the same time, looking at how poor they were yesterday, and to be honest, not just that, they lost to Sheffield United last week, they lost to Wolves at the weekend. They're on a really poor run of form. So we should be confident to try and exploit that. But I just don't have much confidence with us away from home. Like unless if we can go to an alleged big six side and get something, that would be a massive point, or 3 points if we're lucky. And if that doesn't build us huge confidence, albeit against the Spurs side that looking very very abject at the moment, it's still a big six team, and a fantastic stadium that I think we've been daunted by at times whenever we've gone to one of them. So yeah, it's a good time to play Spurs really because of how poor they are right now and how they're on the loop really, aren't they, in terms of what they do every single year. It's just the same thing every year, failure, going backwards. But at the same time, I'm reserving my judgment for sure with how poor we are on the road. I just hope we can change it.
Yeah, definitely. Spurs are doing the Spurs there. Near enough the
Yes, very
same.
much. Yeah, very
Um,
much.
but, yeah, I mean, the thing that gives me that bit more positive going into Saturday's game, even though our away form is what it is, the one thing that I'm taking into Saturday is that character that we showed last week against Everton. Go 1-0 down, then 2-1 down, as you come back and get something out of it. I think if I've had something, it's the first time we've done it this season where came back from two behind twice to get a point out of something. I might be one here, guys, but
Yeah, yeah. I think you're right. Actually, and we complain about the away form, but I do think that at the weekend it was one of the few times where we've seen little hints of it at home because we weren't very good, really, in my opinion, against Everton, and I know we can complain about the referee, which was awful as ever, but we certainly played better than what we have done away from home, without a doubt. We showed that fight, and we didn't give in, but we weren't exactly playing that well either. And I think against the better side, we probably would have been punished for it for sure, even at home. I don't know whether we underestimated Everton or anything, but Everton played all right. There weren't anything special, so it wasn't particularly encouraging, the performance. But in terms of the way we managed to get something out of it twice from losing, shows great character and fight, like we say. So yeah, you've got to be happy with that. And on the balance of play, I think a point is fair. And so long as we make up for it by beating winning a home game, not far away like against Newcastle, for instance, which I think we can do. Newcastle are kind of falling off a little, so we'll see what happens with that one. But the fight we showed in that game, we have to play it to our advantage. And coming up against the Spurs side that are looking really average at the moment, they're somehow fourth, which I don't really know how they are. We've got to be confident when you look at it like that. But we just wish it was at the City Ground. You might actually get something from it.
Yeah, that's the thing. And yeah, I mean, if it was the fast first, I think we would get something 100%. I mean, we did it. We got something out of Spurs already in the cup, beating them 2-0. They beating us 2-0 in the lead, but then we turned that one and got something in the cup just before the World Cup, and that's a bit of a tongue twister. It was
Yeah,
quality. But
quality. Yeah, quality tongue twister.
yeah, quality tongue twister of the week.
Brilliant.
But yeah, I mean, that's the thing. I think when we played them earlier in the season, we were still a new team, as we always say. When we lost 2-0, but we've shown a lot more of a team and played them in the cup, and even then we made 5 changes to whereas they made the one. So I mean, and that it shows that we can match them.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's interesting really because the start of the season Forest were pretty awful at times, as we know. But I do think that Spurs game at home, even though we lost, we played pretty well, I thought, and we gave them a good go. And I remember coming away from it feeling pretty optimistic. Like, okay, we just lost, but we were pretty unlucky there. Like, we could have got something from that. And if we can play like that against Spurs, then we can certainly beat other teams. And it didn't quite prove to be that way. Shortly after that, obviously we played Fulham and Bournemouth, and those are the only games this season where I think we've played really badly at home. Even Everton, I think, was better than that. I think it's probably fine margins, as Chris Houston would say. But yeah, it was a pretty good performance. Saying we lost, and then obviously, like we say, when we start to pick up in this season, and we've kind of just continued to build from this little period we had before the World Cup against, obviously Spurs, Palace, and Brentford, of course. That little run we had at home, we played excellent in the Spurs Cup match. We thoroughly deserved to win and outplayed them. Spurs turned up quite clearly being arrogant, thinking they were going to win. They made changes. I think Kane played, didn't he? He started the match. He ended up going off, but the rest are a lot of other big names. And it backfired. And it's very, very Spursy of them to do that. So I wasn't shocked from that point of view for us to be one of the many teams that have denied Spurs the chance of winning a trophy. But we played excellent in that game. Maybe it's because Spurs is awful away kit, but hopefully we can use that energy from November this weekend.
Yeah, definitely, and we can say that we have won one more trophy than Spurs. Well, two actually, than Spurs in the last couple of years because we got the Cluffy Trophy and we got the playoff trophy.
We actually have. Like, it doesn't matter that they're not Champions League standard. In fact, no, they are. Like, the playoff final on that day was way more important than any other final we could ever think of.
Yeah. But yeah, I couldn't agree more. And you know what? The massive thing as well that gave me a massive lift was Yatesy being back. I mean, he's going to be vital now.
Yeah, I love Yatesy. Probably my favourite Forest player. And a lot of people have criticised him in the past, but I've always stuck by him. I just think his presence, everything he's about, is what we need in the team. He's Nottingham Forest through and through. He'll give everything for this club, and all we ask for at the very least as football fans is the players give it their all. Even if we lose, we go out with a fight, we play well, and Yates is going to give you that. Early on in his career, he did kind of deserve a bit of criticism he got, but he was learning. I think he's quite clearly proven. I've always believed in him that he could become a good player. didn't think he'd become as good as what he is currently, and I think he can only continue to get better. So, yeah, it's a huge boost in my opinion to get Yatesy back in the side, and I think we saw, he'd been out for like 6 weeks with an illness. I think he was quite clearly quite ill from what we could tell, and yet he comes straight back in, gets 20 minutes, and he gets an assist, and he just really shores up that midfield. And I think we were struggling at times during that game, and we did see when Yates came on, we improved. So, yeah, I think he'll be straight back into the starting 11 as soon as we can get him in it, really.
I even got the fans going as well when I think we kicked
Yeah,
out for corner or thingy, and it just literally getting
yeah, I love
the
that.
fans. It was brilliant.
Yeah, I love seeing that from the players. Whenever you're under the cosh, kind of, the players, want the fans. And obviously, the players always talk about how important we are, but when you see it, it's really it just shows that their commitment is paramount to the club, really.
Yeah, definitely. It is quality.
It certainly is quality.
But yeah, going into Saturday's game, I'm presuming that we're going to see the similar 11 against Spurs than we did against Everton, to be fair, don't you think?
Yeah. I mean, I personally play Sam Surridge. Like,
Mm.
Woods, he scored that great goal against City. Weren't the best finish, obviously, because it weren't stunning. But I'd say again, it's quite difficult to do that in that situation. But my point is it was a pretty simple goal to score, but it was a vital goal to score. So, I'll give him the benefit of the doubt. But other than that, he's been not the best. I think we can probably agree on that. I was willing to keep giving him chances, but I feel he might be more of an impact player like we saw against Man City. And I just feel Surridge is one of the most underused players we've got. Like, I don't think he's ever going to be like the most glamorous player or even the best player, but I just feel, he's got the right attitude, he's got the right skill, I think, to be a clinical striker. We know what Sam Surridge can do, and he's not had enough chances. He scored one goal against Bournemouth, and I just think he deserves more opportunities. And to be fair to Andre Ayew, I think the weekend was probably his best game for us, albeit he only got like 20 minutes. But I'd personally try and give Sam a start. I think he deserves an opportunity. And there was times at the weekend against Everton where it looked like he was going to come on, and then he just didn't. So yeah, I feel a bit bad for him, really. I've met his dad a few times actually, and he just says how much he loves it at the club. So I just would love it if we gave something back to him. It'd be nice to see him get a start. But away from that, yeah, I'll probably keep it the same. I would be tempted to maybe change it up in the midfield slightly. I think Shelby and I'd be okay with Colback staying in, but I do think we need to question Freuler, to be honest. Like, I know people have criticised him. I think he is quite clearly a good player, Freuler. He got that leadership. I'm not one that says he's awful, but I do feel maybe a spell at the team wouldn't go amiss. And like we said, I think Yatesy should go into the midfield if he's fit. I am very sceptical about what's going on with the Brazilian lads, Scarpa and Danilo. I'm not sure
It
what's
took the
happened
thought out of my
with them.
brain then.
Yeah, I'm not sure what's going on with them, but an ideal midfield for me probably would be Yates, Shelby, and probably Mangala or Freuler. But it's a luxury problem to have. We've got so many options.
Yeah, I would go on to the Brazilians because there was it was Magooden that said it on the Garibaldi Red podcast, saying that about them to come in January, and fair enough the leads are different, and for them to come in and try to hit the ground running, not really worked out for them at the minute, but they need to probably take a step back to see how it is and get to that level.
Yeah, I think that might have something to do with it. Yeah, that definitely is, because you look at Brazil and then you look at the Premier League. It's a totally different kind of football and culture, language, everything. It's a whole new culture to learn. I do think that's playing a part. I mean, if we can't question Scarpa's determination to play for us. He comes across very, very well. I can't doubt Scarpa's attitude. I think he's definitely one for the dressing room for sure, Scarpa. But it's probably fair to say he's not been the best so far. Obviously, he's not had that many chances. We've seen that Brazilian flair to him, some of the passes that he's done for us, but he's not really hit the ground running yet. I feel Danilo's been a bit harshly treated, though, compared to Scarpa, because I think we have seen very good bits from Danilo. What game was it? I think it was against Leeds, I think. The goal against, not Leeds. There was a game where Danilo played. Yeah, I
Man
think it
City.
was. Yeah, I know he set up a goal or a big chance. I remember it was a really good bit of skill from him. So yeah, I think if we're talking about ideal midfield, I'd probably have him in with Yates and Shelby right now.
Yeah.
Only I wouldn't mind Foyler staying in, but I do think it's right to question his form at the moment. Not his class, form's temporary, but yeah, we've got some great options. We've got. You look at how far we've come. We've gone from having some, one good option in midfield to like 6-7 players we could play there.
Yeah, definitely. Form is temporary and class is quality.
Couldn't have said it better myself.
Yeah. Yeah, I do actually agree with that. I mean, you got a score prediction for Saturday. I keep on wanting to say Sunday for some reason, but it's not. It's
Oh
Saturday.
yeah, we've played a lot on Sunday, haven't we, this season?
Mm.
So I mean, I think it's two things really, isn't it? I think my heart's saying we can get something from it because of how poor Spurs are right now. The last several games have been very average, like I said. So based off that, if we were at home, I'd say we could win. Definitely. If we were at home, I think we'd win. Based off how Spurs are playing right now and the fact we've already done it once to them this season.
Mm.
But our away form is just that poor. I just don't know whether, you look at the two sides, Spurs should still technically beat Forest, really.
Yeah.
But I'm going to do reverse psychology and say Spurs are going to beat us 2-0. But then we're going to end up getting a really good result.
There you go, guys. You heard it here first from Wads.
Perfect.
Yeah. And quality. Do you want to promote your channel?
Yeah. Please, everyone, come subscribe to Rads. Lots of Nottingham Forest related stuff, really. It is quality. It's been certified by Dan himself. So, yeah. And subscribe to Talk Forest TV as well, of course.
Thank you.
So.
Do get Wads up to 5k and do get TFTV up to 3k as well.
Yes,
So
you do that. Make sure you do that.
So do get them up to them. If you do hit the like button and do subscribe to both our channels, they are quality and I've got the pre-certified on them.
Fantastic.
Yeah. So I'd like to say thank you for coming on.
Yeah, thank you.
It's alright. So I'd like to say thank you for watching, guys, and goodbye.